Hello, Healing Overflow with Dr. Toy family. I'm so excited that you're back, but I'm even more excited about our guest. He does not need an introduction. I know you're looking at the camera talking about, wait, is that Lamman Rucker? Yes, it's him. It's him. He's here. And he's here to talk about some really important stuff. I'll introduce you, but everybody knows who Lamman Rucker is. He is a movie star. He's a television star. I'm a fan personally. I watch everything that he's been in, the Temptation movie, Meet the Browns, Greenleaf. We watch all 5 seasons. Queen Sugar, the Black Hamptons. I mean, it goes on and on. You've had a fantastic career and you are still not done. Welcome, Lamman Rucker, Healing Overflow. We can do the applause. They're out there clapping.
You got an applause button you push over there? Yeah.
That's
Thank you.
Welcome.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing so well. I appreciate you coming. The audience don't know, but you are so busy and you squeezed me in. You made it work, and I'm really grateful for that. So thank you so much for coming. What you have to say is so important. I mean, like I said, I read your resume. There's more. You've done so much. You have a great career, and you decide to focus on Black mental health, Black men mental health. What called you to this cause? Because you don't need to. You could continue on, being famous, but you decided this is important. So what called you? What called you to this?
I think, you know what, if I can maybe disagree with you a little bit, I'll say that it wasn't even necessarily, I'll say that, yeah, it's a calling, but I did have to do this. And because I think all of us, not necessarily struggle with this, but, mental health is an everyday thing and it's an everybody thing. I think it has everything to do with, again, or let's say back in the day before we used as much of this terminology to call it a mental health conversation or topic, we just called it, how sensitive you were or what your coping skills were, right? It's coping skills, it's life skills, maybe it's relationship skills, it's, just how you adapt, how you fit in, how you follow the rules, how you challenge the rules for that matter. But I think all these things are connected to how you walk through the world, how you see yourself, how you treat other people, how you treat yourself, right? And the decisions that you make as a result, the quality of life that you live based upon what your emotional capacity is, what your spiritual relationship is, and that's not implying, again, my point is people may see God different ways. Whatever that dynamic is for you, there are various things we have that help us in life. And there's also a lot of tools that people don't have. And there's a lot of conversations that we don't have. And there's a lot of permissions that we don't have or that we don't give one another or allow ourselves, right? So that's a big part of what this is about, which is to some degree to say, okay, enough. As magnificent as we are as people, as much as we have been resilient throughout the history of the entire planet. And then when it comes to Black people in this country and what we deal with on a daily basis, just because you're Black, and then what we've had to deal with for centuries here, all of these things also impact how we define manhood, how we define and defend what it means to be a woman, right? And therefore then how we treat each other, what we expect from one another, what we need from each other. And then how well do we communicate that? How do we behave when we don't get what we want or what we need? And then how much of that is based on things that are unhealthy? How much of that is about things that are good and sometimes we just don't know how to figure things out or work things out. Are we doing that by ourselves?
Mhm.
Do we do that together? What language do we have, right? Are we going to therapy? Are we getting counseling? Or is everything, you're supposed to take everything to your pastor or to your uncle and auntie or grandma and grandma,
The
or
kitchen table.
you talk trash to your boys on the street or in
Yeah.
the locker room,
Yeah.
but you don't really get really qualified,
Mhm.
advice in other ways, right? And just
Right.
because somebody went to college and has a diploma on the back wall doesn't mean they're smarter than,
That's
Uncle
right.
Steve, right? Or
Mhm.
or Aunt Shelley, you know what I'm saying? But um, but it's still, sometimes that's been the limit of our information, and the limit of our sharing, and the limit of even sometimes our courage, the things that we've even had the bravery to actually talk about, right?
Yeah.
Even if
Yeah.
you look at a lot of my work, the real content of the majority of my work is a mental health conversation.
It is.
It's typically, there's either a man in there, that man that I'm playing is, again, wonderful as he may be, he got some stuff with him, right? Or as troubled as he may be, there's also some brilliance about him, right? And so what is that? Where does that come from? Why is he that way? What's his family like? What was his childhood like? What did his parents go through? What shaped him? Like, all those, it's the same questions. So the same thing I do when it comes to my character development as an actor is the same thing I'm doing in my own life, which is always revisiting, reanalyzing, questioning, challenging, um, you know, and where do I need help? Where do I need healing? What are my triggers? What are my insecurities? What are my habits? What things do I do that potentially put me in danger?
Correct. Yeah.
Like all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And I think everybody has that. Everybody has some of that. And the unfortunate thing is, a lot of people are doing that in silence. They're doing
Yes.
that in secret, or they're doing it in ways where certain things, like I said, have gotten them or have gotten us this far. But
Mhm.
I think there's another layer of work and opportunity that's in front of us,
Mhm.
where uh, getting more qualified help, normalizing therapy, and even if you're not at the shrink, so to speak, um, like creating space in your
Yes.
homes, in your friendships, in your relationships, in all things, with your children,
Mhm.
right? With your parents, that enables healthy conversation,
Right.
transparent communication, and getting to your stuff. Because
Lamman,
whatever that stuff is,
yes.
one of the things I live by, and I'll never forget my mother saying this actually, the sooner you get to it, the sooner you get through it.
Come
Um,
on. That's good
and
wisdom.
and until you do, typically you'll be stuck.
It's going to keep
And
following
and
you,
then
right?
and so will your kids,
Mhm.
and so will their kids,
Through
and so will, I
generations.
mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes.
Now you got
So
this generational trauma or these generational patterns. And then
absolutely.
and then some of us are also going through stuff that nobody told us about. And then
Mhm.
if we finally get the right information, we find out, oh, so you mean Grandma so and so dealt with this too? Or you
Yes.
mean this secret has been around ever since, you know,
Let me
Grandpa
let
so and
me
so
talk
was a
about
baby?
there's
Like,
something that you said so
crazy.
important. I don't want to forget, okay? You talked about it in a nutshell, educating us, I'm a professor, I'm a therapist, and teaching people the language,
Yeah.
teaching people how to identify with their feelings. It's not that men don't feel, of course,
Well, of course we
men
feel.
feel.
Yeah.
Of
Look
course
at the
you
history of
do.
the world. That's the problem.
Come
Men's
on,
feelings.
right?
you know?
But women were allowed to feel all over the place most of the time. And men, you all don't have that space. And you created, I love it. I love that you said, let me correct you. I needed to do this. You felt the need and the pull to create a space for men to talk about men's feelings, emotions, and to put definitions and words to it. That That's phenomenal. The way you
And
set
just
up your,
safety and solidarity,
yeah,
because
safety.
we often talk about the fact that even part of a man's identity is to protect and provide.
Mm-hmm.
But what about a man's protection? Who protects him?
Who
Who
protects the
provides for
man?
him?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Where is he? When and where is he provided for? Where is
Mm.
he served? Who makes sure he's okay? You
Mm-hmm.
know, and how does he make sure he's okay
Mm-hmm.
without
Mm-hmm.
feeding himself with vices or temptations or temporary solutions to what that is, right?
Mm.
How can we keep ourselves safe? How can we keep one another safe as men? What's the
Right.
problem with telling one another we love you? What's the
The-
problem with saying, hey, bro, nah, come over here? I mean, we talk all the time. I got your back. Nah, you my dog, you this, you that. We
mm-hmm.
love each other.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
have our ways of protecting each other. But oftentimes that protection, as opposed to it being love and nurturing as much as it should be, because it's that too. Men are very
Absolutely.
loving and nurturing,
Mm-hmm.
but it often comes as a response to when safety might be jeopardized. Now it's violence or aggression. You see a man cry after shit done already hit the fan,
Correct.
or he loses the NBA championship last night.
Mm.
Like you see, it's at times like that. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, he's ashamed to cry
Yeah.
about anything else.
I only saw my father cry when his sister died. Like that.
You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And thankfully, I've seen my father cry in other moments other than that. It
Mm-hmm.
never diminished his manhood to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if anything, it made that normal and didn't look foreign to me when I saw it again, or when it showed up in me, or when I
Yeah.
saw it in somebody else. And again, I've also had the privilege to live not only my life, but observe the lives of others who have been artists. So this whole element of emoting and being moved and allowing your feelings or your emotions to actually have a place and a space to be flushed out, or to be shaped in the storytelling, or to be shaped in the sculpture or dance or music or theater or whatever. Like,
Yes.
I've seen like the fact that emotions aren't something to be ashamed of. They're an asset,
Yeah. That's
right?
right.
And it's
That's
just a
right.
matter of, what is this thing? How does this thing come to me? Where does it come from? Why am I like this?
Mm-hmm.
How did I get this way? And how can I use this as a tool of wellness, as opposed to
Yeah.
looking at my vulnerability
Mm.
like it's something that I'm supposed to be ashamed of?
And that,
And we're
yeah.
just trying to really encourage that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Mm-hmm.
remind that, nah, man, your vulnerability is what is an asset. You don't have to compare having a heart with being feminine, which we also look at anything that's feminine as negative or less than being masculine. So we're
Right.
ashamed to be less than, right? You know what I'm saying? As opposed
Mm-hmm.
to,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many lessons here. We need to upgrade what it means to be feminine, and
Yeah.
not be afraid or ashamed to be
That's
something that even
right.
you might equate with being feminine. You
Correct.
can't be a real man unless you are masculine and feminine. You'll
Mm-hmm.
never be a real, complete, evolved human being, unless you understand, okay, even if you do equate that with that other, right, uh, gender sensibility,
Right.
that's great. Yeah, give me
Mm-hmm.
that. Give me the best of that. But unfortunately, we think about the negative behaviors that we've interpreted from women. And most of us, I don't want no parts of that.
Mm-hmm.
When a woman's going through all her emotional stuff, she can't think straight. And I ain't gonna be that dude, you know?
Mm.
Um, or when we are, emotional or sensitive, it's weaponized against us.
Right.
Or we're made to feel embarrassed, or
Or
stop being
being
a punk.
weak or
You
something.
acting like
Yeah.
a bitch, or you
Mm-hmm.
this or that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
All that negativity.
I ain't doing that no more. Even a
Yeah.
woman that you care about, and you think again that you're safe, that this is a woman who cares about you, and you should be able to open up to her. If things ain't going her way, oh, she's hitting you with knives and darts and daggers,
Mm.
that you've equipped her with in your transparency and your vulnerability. Now she's using them against you. So you stop trusting people with your feelings, and you shut that stuff off. You shut it
Yeah.
down. but all it does is eats at you and kills you
It
from
just
the
builds
inside
up.
out. And at some point,
Exactly.
it's going to manifest itself
Mm-hmm.
in behaviors that
Yeah.
aren't healthy for you or somebody else.
And a lot of times that's violence. That's what we're seeing on the
Absolutely,
street. We're
absolutely. And
seeing
then
gun
men
violence.
isolate themselves more and more over
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Little boys hang out in groups because they scared to death to be by themselves. And then all they end up doing is being irresponsible because these impulses and these things that, I mean, they're slowly committing suicide too.
Yeah.
They're just doing it in a passive aggressive kind of way, but it's because many of them are afraid or they're hopeless.
And the rate of Black folk committing suicide has gone up. We used to say, we don't commit suicide. We don't do it. Now the statistics say we are because we're bottling.
And everybody want to get the bag and everybody wants to have all this success and, oh, I'm a boss, and all this kind of stuff. And again, none of that cures you emotionally or spiritually.
At all.
And some of the highest rates of suicide are people who are considered high value or high wage earners or successful people.
Because it's causing depression and anxiety to go up. You keep chasing the bag. What if you can't catch it? Or
the more money, more problems, or that kind of thing. So if you're not well, you ain't going to be well, whether you rich or poor,
all the way
wealthy or not, or whatever.
You got it.
So we need to really challenge a lot of things: how we define success, how we define happiness, how we define manhood in this particular case. And that's what this conversation is about. And that's also some of the solutions and information, as you said, language, vocabulary, and resources that are shared when we do our Just Heal Bro tour around the country. So incredibly excited that we have the opportunity to bring it to Pittsburgh.
Just heal,
and it's
bro.
kind of matter of fact, so one of our brothers, and this was also inspired by Jay Barnett. He's now Dr. Jay Barnett.
All right,
finished his doctorate recently.
Yeah.
So he's one of the brothers that and the primary catalyst for also his book. He has a men's journal that he penned by that title, and that's what he also became, the name and the catalyst for the tour. But this work, many of us have been doing for a long time. We just hadn't done it necessarily together, and in this particular, type of framework. But I've been on countless panels and boards and, community-based initiatives and mentoring programs, even my own nonprofit, like that are all connected to this work. And essentially this is saving lives. This is, this is just as much a chat session, a hangout, chop it up, campfire, chat with the teenage boys in your mentoring program. You know what I mean? Like, what's the difference? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the huddle up after practice or on the bus or, with my when I was coaching at Shenley. You know what I mean? Shout out to Shenley High School.
Okay.
Right? So, I mean, like these conversations are not new to me. I've been having them as the leader and facilitator of them in many ways in different environments. And I've been thankfully the product and recipient of these same types of environments and services and opportunities throughout my life. And they've been life-changing.
Yeah.
And thank God for that.
Filled with it.
Not that. Yeah, I could be a different person. I could have a different level of self-control and self-discipline when things are happening to me or, and then somebody's in my face. It's like
could be another Lamman.
I didn't know better. Yeah, I could have took a couple people out by now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or somebody might have, knocked me upside the head or put me 6 feet deep or who knows what. Like there's just, and I keep saying I'm over that. I'm not interested in those results. I'm sick of watching the news, looking at mothers and fathers, crying at the loss of another person or another Black child in particular, right?
Yeah.
So whatever I can do to be a part of the process of again, I think we're saving lives in this process of healing.
For sure.
I'm all for it. So we also want to encourage people to also do that. Yes, we're doing it, but what are you doing? What are you doing for yourself, and how are you allowing yourself to be available to others to demonstrate and model and also facilitate the healing of other people? not just your own. So once
I
you know
love
better,
that.
not only do you have to do better, but don't keep it to yourself, you know?
That's right.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's what
hey,
you're
I've been saying
doing.
for years, it ain't no fun if your homies can't have
I
nothing.
can't
So,
have no.
right? So
Yeah. And
it's
your
the same kind of
father, from what you
same
said, your
kind of thing.
father poured that into you, and now you're giving back through your symposium. The way you have it set up, I love it. It's like a barbershop almost. You got a
Yeah,
panel
exactly.
of men.
And that's where we've done a lot of this for a long time. When you want to go and chop it up with brothers and have unfiltered conversation, you
Go to the
know,
barbershop.
sometimes even just healthy arguments, sometimes ridiculous arguments, it's just entertainment, that's one of our places, right? And you can get some highly qualified advice and wisdom from the OGs cutting hair or sitting here waiting for their hair to be cut, or the ones who don't go nowhere and just sit there all day, you
Mm-hmm.
know, or even from peers. I mean, I've seen and I've also been engaged in countless conversations where folks are like, what are y'all talking about? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Man, listen, y'all need to stop talking like that. This is da 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 da, right? And now we've got different perspectives and things like that are happening. Like, that's exactly it. And I believe our barbers maybe are the perfect location. And some of our barbers, not only should they maybe get certified on, and how to cut hair and do that, but maybe they also need to be getting some training as clinicians,
I
right?
love it.
Like, why
Yes.
not? Why can't these barbershops also be a place like, yeah, after you get your hair cut, you need somebody to talk to here,
Mm-hmm.
come right on through
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm.
There's the lounge or schedule with so-and-so. I mean, you know what I mean?
We got to be
Like,
out the
whatever.
box. That's what
Yeah,
you're saying. We got to
yeah,
be out the
right. Because
box
there's
in this.
certain places where there's certain energies that, yeah, like these are places of unity, of gathering, of brotherhood, of
Mm.
of whatever, right? And you need that fellowship, but sometimes it's that extra step. Like, yeah, we went and kicked it, or we played ball, or we worked out, or we watched the game together. And sometimes that's what we need. We don't always need to talk. We just need to be with each other.
Mm.
So even for all the men who don't want to talk, just come. Just come and be with your boys, be with your brothers, whether you know everybody in the room or not. That in alone sometimes can be very enriching and
Right.
empowering and fortifying.
Right.
Because that energy, that collective energy of Black
Mm-hmm.
men in one room, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. That's
And
powerful.
then if you're listening, the information that you'll get, the fact that you'll be like, oh, so I identify with that. So it's not just me.
Yeah, that's
And
me too.
wow. And they just said something that, okay, like if nothing less, come and take notes and leave. That's
That's
cool.
right. That's
But
right.
at least you're there. At least you've given yourself the opportunity to be informed,
And
right?
you got
Um,
something.
but yeah, I think at some of these locations, like there maybe needs to be just a little bit more innovation to it, as opposed to just coming and getting your hair cut and leave. If you want to stay a little longer, here are some of the other, you know, healthy things that
Mm-hmm.
are also available to you. You get your grooming, and for some men, that's a therapeutic experience to come and get right, to get cleaned up and to get shaved and tightened up, and then when you leave out of there, you're like, ah, yeah, you know what I mean?
You feel good on
But
the outside and inside.
yeah, but sometimes on
Absolutely.
top of that, like, all right, what else is there? All right,
Yeah.
yeah, all right, now that I've done that, all right, I can actually go in here and like
And
just
get
meditate
something.
for a little while, or I can come over here and actually maybe have somebody, to talk to,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
I
Yes.
absolutely think there's a lot of space for us to kind of reimagine some of what we've been doing,
Well,
you
these
know?
type of doors opening
Yep.
helps, Black men to know that there are safe atmospheres. People go through the same thing. Your brothers go through the same things.
Yeah.
As a therapist, I see Black men come to therapy, but they come when they see somebody that looks like them and they can identify with them. And most of the times they do better in groups with men. So
Yeah.
you have a perfect setup for this, and I'm glad that you felt like you had to do it. That's what we need to do, because poor mental health leaks into your physical health. We know that
No doubt
from
about it.
ACE's study. We got high blood pressure, and we got gout and sugar and all that kind of
Ulcers
stuff.
and all kind of stuff. Yep.
Yes, yes, because we're not healing as a people. And
Yep.
so I commend
Guilt.
you. Yes, guilt. I commend you for looking at Black men, because people might say, well, what about women? And can we
All the
come? And
time.
what
Of
about
course.
this and
And
that?
we hear that, and particularly because we live in such a chauvinistic, paternal society, right? But the irony of that is most men actually feel like most of the things that are out there and available are all about women.
Mm.
A man's heart doesn't matter. A man's body doesn't matter. Anything that's typically about health or wellness, it's all about the woman's body. It's all about reproductive health. It's all about, so, and not that you all shouldn't be a priority, but the
Oh,
irony
sure.
and the perspective on many of those things is that women would very easily say, there's already enough stuff set up for y'all. Men have everything going for them and everything their way. We're the oppressed, right? Sex. But you'd be surprised with most things. The irony of that is most men feel like ain't nobody listening to us. Nobody
Yeah.
cares.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything that's set up for any health assistance,
Yeah. There's not
or
enough.
help. No,
There's not enough
like
for men. Yeah.
it's all about, and
And
then
we,
now there's even more of a, which I love actually, even more momentum toward, girl power and,
yes.
women's
Yes.
empowerment and, regardless of what it is,
Mm-hmm.
the uh, pay gender gaps and stuff, all
Yeah.
these things that are, very important to make sure
Right.
we don't forget this is still a real deal. There's
Yes.
still a lot of stuff that we have to make sure we don't neglect our men and boys
Yeah,
in the
we can have both, right, Lamont? Like, okay,
absolutely. We
women,
have to have both.
we're
We got to do it
oppressed,
all. We
but
can't neglect
men,
one or the other.
that's right. Men are oppressed as well in certain situations, especially when it comes to mental health. And so you saw that gap, and that's important that you did that. I'm going to wind it up because I know that you are running from place to place. I got to give some shout outs though, because you are my Be Me brother. I am a
Oh
part of
yeah.
Be Me like you. Shout out to Travian Shorter, founder of Be Me. So I just wanted to say that for sure. And y'all, if you don't know,
Don't
Lamont is
leave
from
corn out. Go
Pittsburgh.
ahead and say his
You
name.
you know I have to. I can't go home unless I say Cornell Jones. I tell
Man.
you how much he loves you as a brother, Lamont. And anytime you're on TV, we watch and support you. So that's
Oh
the
yeah,
only time
thank
I
you.
get him to sit and watch a series. He watched all of Greenleaf with me because
That
his brother Lamont was on there.
that's
So
what's up. That's what's up.
shout
That's
out to
what's
my
up.
husband, Cornell. You had to
That's
get
right.
it in
That's
there.
right. And again, his family and his mom and
Yeah,
dad are again shining examples of what we're talking about.
for
People who
sure.
have made a commitment to doing work and creating institutions that were about, finding a way to serve each other and to
Yes.
create space for us to um you know, to do the things we need to do,
Mm-hmm. To
and
get right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pittsburgh is a phenomenal place, and I'm incredibly excited to be back and and to serve again in this way. Every chance I get to come home, I'm with it. So there's way too many people for me to shout out. So I ain't even gonna start.
Don't even start. But I'm going to
But,
shout out your Just Heal Bro. We welcome you to Pittsburgh anytime you come. This is your home. Just Heal Bro happens this Thursday, June 20th. 6:30 is the wellness mixer and 7:30 is the interactive panel. Y'all, I've been doing my research and this panel to me is innovative. Jamal, you're an ambassador, Lamont. Like you said, I'm going to be an ambassador of Black mental health. And that's what you've done. You put your mind to it. I've been following it. You're doing it across country. And Healing Overflow family, this is the innovative way to do it. It really is a setup where men can come and feel comfortable. You're allowing the young men to come too.
oh
I
yeah,
love that.
oh
You
yeah.
that shows that you
We've had
you
them
zeroed in on
again,
generational.
8 to 80.
So I told my son, you're going, have a good time
That's
with your
right.
dad.
That's right. No, absolutely, absolutely, and then we want to encourage that. We want to encourage everybody. Hey, ladies, moms, sisters, aunties, grandma, drop hubby or baby boy or whoever off. Bring your boyfriend. Like tell him, hey, baby, I thought this would be a good idea. Here, you just go chill. and then I'll come back and pick you up, or, hey, this is going on. Whatever you need to do, give yourself the space, go do that. And then if you want to talk when you get back, cool. If you just need some time to be alone, I understand that too. But, I really want to ask all of our women, yes, support us, please. Support the men in your life in their healing journey, in their emotional discovery and exploration, their spiritual discovery and exploration. A lot of this is about a lot of men just still trying to find their way. They don't really know how to talk about a lot of this. And if you can be, again, another healthy place and space and asset for them. If you can't, that's okay too. That doesn't make you any less of a partner in any way. Just give us the room to make sure that we have, somewhere else to go to get, especially if it's professional help. That dude needs to go hoop. If that dude needs to go ride his bike or do this or do that. Now, if you see some negative behaviors, like, I would say, but check him in love. Be careful of your tone and the language that you use. But really just say, hey, I'm seeing some things. Even sometimes mothers have difficulties with their sons and their boys. Hey, I'm seeing some things, and I'm just not sure exactly what's going on with you or how you feel. Let's talk. Let's sit down and just chill and chop it up. What's going on with you? How do you feel? Or just listen. You don't have to solve the problem.
That's right.
Just, a lot of times we need support. We need space and we need time. Do not rush us. We need time.
You'll be better for us, right, Lamman?
Yes, that's absolutely. Which is also, believe it or not, is also what we desire. We love you. We love y'all. We do not want to be in this world without you. I don't care what no man says. Like, he's full of it. These little boys don't know what they're talking about, and the older ones who've had their hearts broken, they don't know what they're talking about either. They're not being honest, but they're being truthful about how they feel. But the real truth also is, absolutely, we need you all. We want you all in our lives, and we want to be able to have healthy relationships with our women, our daughters, our mothers. You'd be surprised how many men don't have healthy relationships with their mothers. And we take for granted that women are just the emotionally more intelligent species, and we can't do that. We're disservicing you when we say that, actually, and we're also minimizing our own intelligence when we say that. The reality is we all got work to do, and a lot of what's going on with us could have something to do with you too, right? So you might have to practice some accountability, and you're going to learn some lessons too, maybe.
Hey, we got you.
But most importantly, whatever it is, like, just, listen, hear what he has to say, and just help us through it. You can't do it for us.
That's right. Good.
But whatever your love language is, if we don't accept it yet, we'll learn to. Just be consistent with us, be patient with us, give us space and give us time.
That's wonderful advice. Gold nuggets, you dropped them all today. We got your back. We need our men. We need our Black men in particular. I know I need mine. I have a wonderful Black man. So thank you for stopping by, giving us those jewels. Y'all need to go, men. June 20th, this Thursday. It is phenomenal. We will have the link right below, so you can click on it and learn more about Just Heal, bro.
Yeah, and registration is free. Like, come on down, man. There's absolutely nothing to lose. This could be the first day of the rest of your life, a new beginning. And if not, I think it's going to be a good time. It's going to be restorative to your spirit, and I believe transformative, to your life. Like, do not underestimate what this is, and do not underestimate what we can do when we do it together, brothers. So that's what this is about, man. And there's no greater place to serve than my Pittsburgh community.
Yes,
so come on down, pull up, bring your boys with you. And then you can go hang and kick it and chop it up, do whatever after that. But yeah, come on down, man. It's free, and please register in advance. So make sure we don't want to run out of space. You do not want to not be able to get in it.
That's right. That's right.
And just keep it simple. We'll see you there.
Thank you for being on Healing Overflow with Dr. Toy. Again, Healing Overflow family, Lamman, Rucker, we
My
are
pleasure.
so
Thanks
grateful
for
to
the
have
love,
you.
y'all.
Thank you.
And thanks for
Thank you.
watching everything. Thanks, for all the love and support over the years from
Got it.
my early days on the Temptations
Uh-huh.
25 years
I
ago,
saw all of it, Lamman.
to the Black Hamptons of today. And,
Yeah, you started
so
on the
many.
soaps. I saw you on the soaps too.
No, that was Temptations was long
Was
before
your
that.
first one?
Yeah, Temptations
Oh,
was
get
before that.
out. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
And there were a
Yeah.
couple other films, they were indies, but they were before I booked the soaps. I probably did 2, 3 other independent films before I booked the soaps, and not to mention the theater. I mean, I've been in the theater since I was in high school.
Yes, you've been doing it. You've been
Actually
doing it.
younger than that, truthfully.
Oh,
I was
wow. You've been
elementary
on it.
school, yeah,
I,
especially. So,
I
so yeah.
appreciate you so
All
much,
right, much
sir.
love. All
Yes,
right,
much love. Welcome to
take care. Talk
Pittsburgh.
soon.
All right.
All right.
Healing Overflow with Dr. Toy family. Remember, write into me at toyaj@pitt.edu for the Ask a Therapist segment. I'm your therapist. I got some of the answers, and if not, we'll work together to get the answers. Thank you again for listening to Healing Overflow with Dr. Toy. Keep on healing so that your healing overflows onto everyone else. Thank y'all. See you next time.